Hello and welcome. Today is just a short fun one. I've been using one of these PUR water filters on my faucet for many years. This one, gosh, I can't even begin to guess how old this is. And they definitely make a difference in the smell and taste of the water. It takes all the chlorine smell out and it just gives a better taste to the water. They've got a activated charcoal in there, and they claim that, you know, they take out lead and everything else. I don't know. I don't have a lab here, a chemistry lab, to find out how truthful that is, but it does make the water taste better. And as I say, this one's very old. I just replaced it. And they have a little indicator light here. When you put a new filter in, it goes green. And the first, first month or so it stays green, and then it turns yellow, and then it turns red, supposedly when it's time to change the filter. And I never went with that as an indicator. I just changed it every 4 months. I put a reminder on here: January, May, and September, put a new filter cartridge in. There's times when you forget the thing in the on position, you turn the faucet on, you realize that you shut it off, so nothing, it squirts for like half a second. I think it's just counting how many times it sees water go through. I don't think it's actually checking pressure differential, because these filters actually seem to flow more as they get older. When you first put a brand new cartridge in there, it is very restricted for the first 3 or 4 uses, and then it starts to open up and flow faster. But I think I'm going to go full Clive on this thing and use unreasonable force and perhaps even the vice of knowledge to see what's inside of this. So let me get my spudgers over here. There appears to be a seam here. I can't quite get a fingernail in there. Let me grab my spudgers. And in true Big Clive fashion, this is an actual same one he uses, or used to use. It went in a little way, but it didn't do much. And what I'm not going to try to recreate is him drawing blood. At least I hope I'm not going to recreate it. There's no screws. There's a molding thing there. This label is actually clear, so you can see through it. There's no screws. I don't know if this is ultrasonically welded together. Plenty of stuff from the water in here, from many, many, many years of use. Yeah, there's no screws at all on this thing. I think I am going to go over and put it in a vice of knowledge. I'll be right back. Well, I should have carried the camera over there. This yielded with the most satisfying crunches and groans, and it appears to have been glued together. Let's see if we can get it the rest of the way. But boy, the cracks and the pops were most satisfying. You can hear some of them. They certainly did a good job of gluing it together. As I say, I've got a replacement, a brand new one. It's a month or so old now, but I'm just getting around to ripping this apart. I'm curious to see what activates the LED. I don't know if they're just relying on a little diaphragm pushing a coil into a magnet to power it, or maybe it had a lithium cell in it or some sort. We're going to make a genuine mess out of this thing. Boy, it's really put together, I can tell you that. Come on. You're opening up whether you like it or not. I'm not seeing much. Let me get my big cutters and a pair of needle nose pliers. We've got some small ones we don't much care about. There we go. We're in. There's a little circuit board there. Oh, there's some, actually have some screws here. We can dig a little deeper. Those were underneath here, so this had to be opened up. But if I get this out of the way, perhaps I can get to the board. This does somehow reset when you put a new cartridge in. It sounds like a little switch. So again, I don't know if this is activated by a little diaphragm, perhaps like a magnet on the diaphragm moving in a coil, a little moving coil thing. You've seen those flashlights, you shake them to LED flashlights, you shake them to make them work. It's just a moving magnet and a coil of wire. That didn't seem to do much. I expected the top here to come off. As Clive would say, this is fully destructive. Oh, there's some very rusty screws in here. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything with them. They're so gone. No, the heads are just disintegrating. Absolutely disintegrating. And these are seemingly all the way out. They're completely loose. Feels like a nut fell off the back side of them. Alright. We'll use, as Clive would say, unreasonable force to get in here. I want to know. Inquiring minds need to know. Ah, that's so satisfying. Oh, I see some wires. Probably going over to the switch. You see what looks like it could have been a battery compartment. Or is this the cell? Oh, this might be the cell right here in plastic. That might be the whole secret to this thing. Yes, I believe that's it. I believe there's a battery in there. Long past its sell-by date. And that's why the LED thing quit working. Maybe these are still attached. Yeah, there are nuts, and they are free. We almost have liberated it. Yeah, there's a coin cell in there, probably a 2036, I'm gonna guess, or 2032, whatever those are, 2032, I guess. And there's a little, oh, it's a 4-wire cable. Let's see what this is gonna reveal. Yeah, these are the two little bosses where there's 2 screws with the heads rotted right off of them. Again, I don't really remember when I initially installed this, but it was many years ago. It's been working for a long time. that's liberated. That's nothing but the little valve unit that transfers back and forth, but there's something in here. Yeah, that's just straight through. Okay, so that just passes the water through. This isn't even connected to anything. Just a screen, I think, to keep crap out. All that does is pass the water when you go from faucet use to using it for drinking water. It sends it through here and into the filter, sends it into this cavity. Then it goes into the filter and then down through that center boss and out here. Very straightforward, and I'm reasonably certain all this thing is doing is counting how many times it's cycled. I don't imagine they've got an actual flow meter. I could be wrong. But I think it just counts how many times it's been off and on. Well, there's a fairly complex looking board in there. Ow. Probably should have sent this to Clive and let him dissect it. Let him bleed. Although I don't know what postage to the Isle of Man would be from New Hampshire. Yeah, there's a little switch right here. That's these two wires. Now there's what looks like a little microprocessor, but it may just be a counter. I don't know. This is potted. You can see it's just pot. This is all potted. I may be able to read the chip number. Oh, it's got a crystal. It's got a crystal. Maybe it is reading pressure. No, it can't be reading pressure because there's nothing to read pressure. There's only this switch. Yeah, it's counting cycles, I'm sure. There's no pressure transducer. There's the switch inside of here. The water goes in directly into here. Unless they're doing something magic underneath here. There's no wires running to anything in there. Boy, they did a good job of gluing it together. Yeah, this is... I don't see any magic in here. I believe there's nothing but the switch. They certainly did a good job of gluing it together. Ah, maybe that's a release. Let's see. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Ah, it's a Hall effect switch. Okay. This has got to have a magnet on it. What I'm hearing is the spring. Yeah. This is a blank wall. So when this little lever goes up and down, there's a Hall effect switch. And there's probably another magnet somewhere that when the water flow turns off and on, it probably affects this thing. I would bet money on it that this is just counting number of cycles. There's nothing for testing pressure differential. I wonder if I powered it up if it would still work. Maybe we ought to try that. Apply 3 volts. Yeah, 2 of the wires are for the battery, 2 of them are for the LED. it's just counting cycles. So no matter how much water you draw, there's no way to sense pressure, there's no way to sense flow. It's just off and on. Every time you turn it on, the magnet wiggles in here, and it just counts how many cycles. Let me put some voltage to this and see if it still works. Alrighty, I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. This was the little place where the water exits, and I said, well, maybe there's something in here that spins and spins a magnet. Nothing. It's just an empty chamber. Seeing as there's a crystal, a clock crystal in here, giving them the benefit of the doubt, it's possible, I guess, that it works on time. But, you know, water pressure is going to affect the flow. I think they're basically counting cycles and saving them on this chip. There is a number on there. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything. I'll throw it up here on the screen. So there is another number further down, but it's hidden underneath some air bubbles in this conformal coating, and I don't think I've got a prayer in hell of getting that off. I can give that a try, I guess. Let's put some power to this and see what happens. Let's see if the LED resets even. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Batteries any good? I think the batteries are good. Oh, battery's not making contact. What do you know? There. Haha. Let's try this again. Oh. Yep. It went through the, that's the refresh cycle. It goes red, green, red, green. So that worked. Let me stuff this wire underneath here so it stays on. I wonder if it, yep, it'll reset every time it gets power back. It resets. I tried soldering to this side of the cell with no success. Alright, where's the little magnet? We'll pass the magnet in front of it. In front of its little sensor here. Is that in the frame? I hope so. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. Am I making contact? Do I have a connection? Did I lose my battery? Let's try this again. Okay, it's going through its reset cycle. That part is working. Let me stuff this underneath here and see if it'll stay. Okay. It just went through its reset. Let's put the magnet over here. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. Oh, it went through another reset cycle. I think that's all this does, is reset it. But what activates it when the water flows? If I take the magnet away for a minute. I don't know. I think I'm making connection here, maybe not. Ah, maybe I can solder to that. I couldn't get the solder to take to the battery itself, but now I can see the negative terminal in there. let me try to get it on there. The other side, the positive side, I pulled the strap off the battery so that I'm not trying to power up the old coin cell. But let's see if it'll take solder here. Ah, it did. Okay. I can make a good connection on the terminal here. Come on, get on there. Okay, we have a solid connection, one we can trust, more or less. Now, let's see what happens when I do this. See, normally when you have just installed a new filter, every time you turn the water on, you get a green light. That just went through a reset cycle. And that's a reset cycle. So this does reset it every time, but I still don't see how they know the water's been turned on. Because every time you turn this thing on, the green light lights briefly, and then over time the red light comes on. It doesn't flash that red-green pattern though. Okay. There appears to be a time element involved here. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that definitely resets. The filter would go down, but I'm not seeing any condition of this moving this magnet that causes it to act as if water is flowing. Yeah, that's the reset again. There's nothing else. I am baffled as to how it knows the water is flowing. Unless there's something in here. That was mounted on here. Oh, there may be a magnet in here. I wonder if there's a magnet in here. Let me pull this apart. There may be something on this circuit board. Alrighty, there was nothing inside of this assembly other than a clever little valve. This cam operates one or the other of these little valve assemblies that open one port or the other, either straight through the faucet or down too. There's no magnets in here. The other half of it is nothing but the little part that clamps around your faucet. This releases it so you can take it off the faucet. There's a special adapter you thread into the faucet that just grips. And other than that, that's all that's in there. Nothing that would activate this. So I'm at a loss as to how it knows when the water is flowing. I can make it reset every time if I put this on here and then move it up. It may be, oh, there, that's the reset cycle. Red, green, red, green. But how it knows there's water flowing to turn the light on, I don't know. There's certainly nothing very obvious here. There's no other wires, there's no other place for magnets to actuate it. There's the 4 wires here, 2 for the LED. They're probably alternately turning them off or on to ground. The combination would give you like an amber. It's either green, amber, or red. And 2 of them, of course, will be power. It's probably a common ground, red, green, and power for this board. But I haven't figured out how to make it turn on green and stay there like it would if water was flowing. Most bizarre. It isn't a reverse polarity of the magnet. Of course, this couldn't turn around inside the unit anyway. It was clipped in there. I just don't know. I'm at a loss. There, it just went through the reset cycle again. You know, I was running all kinds of scenarios. Maybe there's a microphone in there and it hears it. No, that would be stupid. Yeah, this was mounted to the back here, but I think that's just for convenience. Again, there's no magnets, there's no connection to the board whatsoever. You know, just the back side of the battery was up against this, up against here. So I don't know. I am at a loss. Oh, maybe that's it. Ah, I'm hearing something rattle in here. I'll bet there's a spinning magnet in here. I'll bet there's a spinning magnet in here. There it is. That's how it knows. Is it listen? Oh, I have to go on the side. Ha ha ha. Okay. That's how it knows. There's a magnet inside of this little tube. Let's see if we can figure out what orientation it has to be in. How was this oriented? How was this oriented? Was that in here? Was it this way? I don't remember. Yeah, maybe that was it. Let me get a piece of tubing so I can blow through that. Maybe we've solved the mystery. Okay, let's see how well this kludge is going to work. I've got the little filter magnet taped in place precariously. I've got my airbrush regulator here hooked up to a piece of hose, and this sometimes is a little reluctant to start. There it goes, it's running. I can feel it vibrating. There we go. You saw the green flash. And that's it. You shut the water off and you bring it back. There's the green flash. And that appears to be the only amount of time. Like, this thing is still spinning. Is it still counting? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's measuring flow. Maybe I'm being too generous. Yeah, that's what it is. when it sees the very slow off and on from this magnet, it resets the counter or whatever it is in there. And when it sees this rapidly spinning magnet, it registers a usage or flow or something. I suppose it could be based on the diameter of this orifice registering flow. I really don't know. You'd have to know what firmware is on that chip, and I doubt they're going to tell you. But if I did this enough times, oh, this isn't real happy. I think it needs water to lubricate it. It's probably plastic bearings. Yeah, it's making funny noises now. Okay, you know as much as I know at this point. We got some nice little stainless steel nuts and screws out of it, and some nice tiny little springs that'll go in my box of springage. I keep all these little springs. You never know when you're going to need a little tiny spring for something. I have jars full of them. And boy, I can't tell you how many times a little spring like this has saved my butt. So we'll hang on to the springs, we'll hang on to those screws, and the rest of this will go in the trash. But just a fun little thing. I had just wanted to know what was inside of this thing and how it works. Now I know. I can rest easy tonight. I'm the radio mechanic. Hope somebody found this entertaining. Stay well. See you soon.